The origins of agriculture continue to be one of archaeology's great mysteries. Chinese archaeologist Jiang Leping may hold a crucial piece of the puzzle thanks to his groundbreaking discoveries at an archaeological site in Zhejiang Province, East China. The prehistoric settlement, known as Shangshan, dates back 10,000 years and is recognized as being home to the earliest cultivated rice in the world. In this edition of Footprints, we'll travel to Zhejiang Province to see how Jiang discovered the site and why it is seen as so significant to our understanding into the origins of agriculture and human civilization. At the Shangshan Site Museum in Pujiang County of Zhejiang Province, a single grain of rice occupies a central position in the exhibition. Although carbonized, it still carries valuable information from 10,000 years ago, marking humanity's earliest cultivation of rice known to people today. The Shangshan site is located in an alluvial basin at an elevation of about 50 meters. Here, archaeologists have not only discovered rice cultivated by humans 10,000 years ago, but also unearthed sickle-shaped tools, stone grinding slabs, and the earliest painted pottery in the world. These significant archaeological findings are closely tied to the hard work and wisdom of one archaeologist, Jiang Leping, from the Zhejiang Provincial Institute of Cultural Relics and Archaeology. Jiang, now in his 60s, is the primary discoverer and leading scholar of the Neolithic Shangshan culture named after the site. Despite being in his 60s, the archaeologist moves through fields and excavation sites with the agility of a young man. Decades of fieldwork have left his skin sun-darkened, but he remains robust and strong, resembling a seasoned farmer. In 2020, he published his memoir, Travel in Ancient Times, an archaeologist's monologue, documenting his decades of archaeological work in a lyrical, essayistic style. Now, as the honorary curator of the Shangshan Site Museum, he speaks about the artifacts with intimate familiarity.
By the
middle period of the Shangshan culture, painted pottery appeared, featuring decorative patterns. This indicates that people at the time had begun to develop a concept of ornamentation, a budding sense of artistic aesthetics. For example, the sun motif on one of the pieces of pottery is remarkably lifelike. These unearthed painted pottery pieces are recognized as the earliest of their kind in the world.
Jiang Leping also highlights another excavated pottery piece, the shape of which strikingly resembles the porcelain Mei Ping vases made during the 7th and 13th centuries. Mei Ping, literally meaning plum vase, is a classic form of Chinese ceramic vessel, adored for its elegant, elongated shape.
Many visitors think this artifact could rival the porcelain Mei Ping from the Tang and Song dynasties. Even some experts have expressed skepticism when seeing it in person. They can't believe it. The pottery unearthed here is far more advanced and refined, compared to contemporaneous finds from other regions.
Extensive archaeological work has long proven that both the Yangtze River Basin in South China and the Yellow River Basin in the north are vital cradles of Chinese civilization. Waves of discoveries in Zhejiang Province, located in South China, have provided solid evidence for tracing the origins of Chinese civilization. In the 1930s, archaeologists first discovered the Liangzhu site, dating back about 5,000 years. Findings from the site gradually shifted international archaeology's traditional view that Chinese civilization began only during the Shang dynasty, which dates back to as early as 1600 BC. The site was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2019, marking global recognition of Chinese civilization having a history of 5 millennia. In the 1970s, archaeologists unearthed an even older Neolithic site called He Mu Du, which dates back about 7,000 years. Researchers have found that the ancient people in He Mu Du domesticated rice, although they might not have been the first. Since its discovery, the He Mu Du site has attracted a range of researchers, including Jiang Leping, who has immersed himself in studying it for many years. His studies in this Neolithic culture would ultimately lead him to the discovery of the even older Shangshan site. In 2000, a highway project was planned in Zhejiang Province. In accordance with common practice in China, archaeologists were dispatched to conduct an underground survey before major construction began. As a result, in November that year, Jiang Leping led an expedition to Shangshan village in Pujiang County, which is situated in the central part of the province. The 10,000-year-old Shangshan site was thus brought to light.
When we first arrived at Shangshan village, this area was covered with radish and sugarcane fields. The reason I came here was actually due to a highway construction project. Before such projects begin, we conduct cultural relic surveys to determine whether construction might damage any sites.
Starting with small test pits, each layer of soil removed peels back time, from hundreds of years ago to thousands of years ago. As excavations progressed, pottery fragments and stone tools emerged, revealing their unique characteristics. Jiang Leping noticed that the color and shape of the pottery fragments differed from those uncovered at the He Mu Du site, which is about 200 kilometers to the east of Shangshan.
This is what we call carbonized red-slipped pottery. Its presence indicates an extremely ancient origin. Most pottery fragments from Shangshan are red-slipped, though some have lost their slip. One large-mouthed vessel with a small flat base stood out. I named it the Wide-Mouth Basin. For researchers long familiar with the He Mu Du artifacts, this shape was unprecedented. Though the Shangshan artifacts were unfamiliar to me, they confirmed that humans had lived here.
Instinctively, Jiang Leping felt his discovery was significant. But at the time, he never anticipated just how groundbreaking the dating of these fragments would be. In June 2002, he sent samples to Peking University's radiocarbon lab for accelerator mass spectrometry dating. 6 months later, the results showed the Shangshan site dates back about 10,000 years. The pottery was crafted by ancient people from that era. This discovery would inevitably enrich and reshape modern understanding of Chinese civilization's origins.
Later, we uncovered even more significant details. The carbon-embedded pottery contained rice husks, mixed in large quantities. Rice husks are tied to agriculture, meaning these people consumed rice, indicating early rice farming practices.
Carbon-embedded pottery, mixed with rice husks and leaves, prevented cracking during firing, making the vessels more durable. This technique inadvertently preserved 10,000-year-old rice remnants. Statistical analysis showed most pottery unearthed at the Shangshan site contained rice husks or leaves, suggesting systematic consumption of rice. Similar findings in the He Mu Du pottery had already showed that rice was cultivated by humans 7,000 years ago. But how about 10,000 years ago?
10000年这个测年出来，这10000年的稻跟那个7000年的稻那就不一样了。
Once the 10,000-year dating was confirmed, the significance of Shangshan rice diverged from those uncovered at He Mu Du. Why? Because 10,000 years is a critical threshold in global archaeology, It marks the origin of agriculture, one of the field's three great questions alongside human origins and state formation. Why is agricultural origin so important? Archaeologists widely regard it as the starting point of civilization. The emergence of cities and states are markers of civilization's maturity, but agriculture set the process in motion.
Scholars worldwide generally recognized three global agricultural origin centers: West Asia for barley and wheat, Mesoamerica for corn, and China for millet and rice. Excavations of Hemudu in the east of Zhejiang Province back in the 1970s first pushed China's rice farming history back to 7,000 years ago. Did Shangshan's rice mean this timeline could extend to 10,000 years? How could the carbonized rice husks embedded in the pottery prove the cultivation of the crop? Jiang Leping and his fellow archaeologists meticulously pursued the answers.
The rice husks in the pottery were a clue guiding our research. A renowned archaeobotanist visited our archaeological site and asked, "What percentage of pottery contains husks?" I said, "Nearly 90%. As an agricultural expert, he responded simply, "Jiang Leping, such a high proportion means rice was already the staple food for the prehistoric people in Shangshan. That's the key point."
If rice was their stable 10,000 years ago, the next question was whether those ancient people had mastered cultivation techniques.
After finding husks, we sought other evidence. Where there are husks, there should be rice grains, carbonized rice, like those found at Hemudu and Liangzhu. To find them, we used a method called flotation. That is, washing soil samples so that sediment sinks while carbonized rice floats. In November 2005, we found our first carbonized grain, but they were scarce, likely due to the site's acidic soil.
To determine if the rice was wild or domesticated, researchers examined spikelet bases, the small structures containing grains to stalks. Wild rice has slender, easily detached bases, aiding natural seed dispersal. Domesticated rice, selectively bred for non-shedding traits, has shorter, sturdier bases. Through husk and phytolith analysis, archaeologists concluded the ancient people in Shangshan had begun domesticating rice through cultivation.
The spikelet base tells the story. Wild rice sheds naturally, leaving a smooth scar at the spikelet base. Cultivated rice, harvested by humans, shows a rough break. This distinction is clear evidence that the ancient people were no longer relying on wild rice. They were cultivating it. Another clue comes from phytoliths, silica-rich plant cells that fossilize. Unlike organic matter, phytoliths endure. Researchers found that wild and domesticated rice phytoliths differ, particularly in fish scale patterns. Counts above 9 scales indicate domestication.
Sickle-like tools and grinding slabs unearthed bore rice phytoliths, and use-wear marks of the stone tools indicate rice harvesting and processing. These findings formed a robust chain of evidence: consumption, harvesting, processing, and cultivation, all pointing to rice farming.
In summary, Shangshan's rice agriculture rests on 4 pillars of evidence: dietary proof, harvesting tools, processing equipment, and cultivation evidence. This explains why Zhejiang Province later gave rise to Hemudu and Liangzhu, the latter being hailed as proof of China's 5,000-year civilization. From prehistoric times, Zhejiang's civilizational development was not only unbroken, but exceptionally advanced. Why? Because a rice revolution 10,000 years ago occurred here, which then sparked settlements and population growth over a long period.
In 2006, 5 years after the discovery of Shangshan, China's archaeological community formally named this 10,000-year-old Neolithic culture the Shangshan culture. To date, 24 Shangshan-related sites have been identified, spanning nearly 30,000 square kilometers in Zhejiang Province. At the Jiaotou site, which belongs to the Shangshan culture, a central platform surrounded by a moat revealed prehistoric settlement planning.
这是人工挖掘出来的壕沟，实际上起到了防卫的作用。
This artificial moat encircled a village, an early defensive feature, akin to a prototype city wall. Renowned Chinese archaeologist Xu Hong calls it East Asia's earliest moat. It reflects consciousness of land ownership, a hallmark of the settlement of a farming community.
In November 2020, an academic conference marking the 20th anniversary of the discovery of the Shangshan site concluded, Shangshan is the origin of global rice farming. Shangshan culture is the source of China's rice farming village traditions, and its painted pottery is the world's oldest. In 2021, Shangshan was listed among China's top 100 archaeological discoveries in a century. Jiang Leping believes Shangshan holds global significance.
现在一般认为是西亚这个农业文明是后来两河流域的文明。
West Asia's agricultural origins are often credited as the foundation of Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Greco-Roman civilizations. Their status has long been elevated, but the 10,000-year-old sites of the Shangshan culture prove East Asia was an equally vital cradle. Its agricultural timeline parallels West Asia's. This is the enduring vitality of civilization, passed down through generations.
In August 2024, Jiang Leping published Shangshan, the 10,000-year foundation of Chinese civilization, offering a concise, accessible overview of the environment, features and rice farming legacy of this Neolithic culture.
城市的出现，国家的出现是文明形成的标志，所以从农业起源到
Born in 1962, Jiang is a native of Zhejiang Province. He learned archaeology at Sun Yat-sen University, one of the top higher learning institutes in China, and graduated at the age of 23. Upon graduation, he embarked on a lifelong journey as an archaeologist. For 40 years, he has traversed Zhejiang's coasts, valleys, and mountains, relentlessly exploring and researching. Alongside fieldwork, Jiang has authored numerous reports and papers, earning recognition as one of Zhejiang's top 10 most inspiring figures in 2022. A self-confessed loner, Jiang finds joy in solitude, reading, and discovery. His decades of sweat and persistence continue to reshape understanding of the prehistoric past of the Chinese people and even the whole of humanity.
那10000年这个时间点上，上山是一个，我认为是一个非常重要的样本。
At the 10,000-year mark, Shangshan is a crucial sample. Our mission is to keep excavating and studying it. We aim to build a world-class heritage park, allowing visitors to connect with this ancient history.
从到10000年前的历史。
With that, we conclude this edition of Footprints. Thanks for listening. I'm Bob Jones. If you're interested in hearing more about the lives of ordinary but incredible people in China, follow us on your favorite podcast platforms. Just key in Footprints and you can find more stories anytime, anywhere. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.